Kick and chase by Mullins. Kick and chase again by Mullins. It'll be a miracle. Oh, it is a miracle. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Fafita got the ball over the line.
Hunter's kick is over the sideline for a 40-20.
Yeah, g'day champions and welcome to 40-20 Sports. Today we're going to be doing the weekly wrap. We're going to have a look at the round one trials. Heaps of implications coming in for our supercoach teams there. Got a good little look at some of the sides. Some of the others didn't field their greatest squads, so leaving us guessing until round two of the trials there. Before we get started, we are running a supercoach league. 40-20, we've got some shirts made up. We've got stickers. Hats are incoming. Stubby coolers are coming. So the winner of that will win a merch pack. We'll send that out to you guys. Keep tabs on everyone during the upcoming season and have a bit of fun with that. That league code is 726638. So jump on board. It's free. Win a couple of shirts and some stubby coolers and stickers and all the likes. Yeah, and just have a bit of fun with that. Righto, so we'll get straight into it. We'll run with the Thursday night game. We've got the Bulldogs versus the Storm. Storm, not too much to run through there. There's a lot of fringe players that played in that one, a lot of up-and-comings. Bellyache would have just been having a bit of a look at those boys, seeing who we can count on for a step up if need to be throughout the year. But the big talking point was Ryan Papenhuyzen. The big puppy, or the little puppy, he is back. Didn't look like he was hampered by an injury at all. He had plenty of speed, showed a heap of speed to score his try where he outrun everyone from the Bulldogs with a chip over the top from the halfback there. Looked awesome in full flight. The mullet looked lovely. Got super involved. Wasn't even worrying about the leg that it looked like. Put Dean Jeremiah, put him over for a try. Nice little lob out pass to the right-hand side there, which was beautiful to see. So Pappy had a lot of involvement. Looked really good. Unfortunately, though, wasn't kicking goals. So he's probably a bit of a watch for us. It'd be interesting to see if they're just wanted him to focus on his footy, or they're saying, look, mate, you're not going to take the goal kicking this year. Round two of the trials will be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if he's even there for round two of the trials. But yeah, a good news story for Pappy. He had a really good game, really promising. Remus Smith went all right. He, consistent in the centres. He's more of a defensive centre than anything. People get a little bit trapped in with him, thinking that, he's cheap and in the Melbourne Storm system, so we'll have a run at him. But please do not. The other big implication there was Trent Liero. Now, he played at lock, so he played in the middle, which is very big for people that are thinking of going Sean Bloor. Now, Sean Bloor, with Trent Liero there playing in the middle, could very well get a starting spot there at the Melbourne Storm, so it'll be one to watch for their round two trials team. But Chris Lewis played there in the back row, so he's every opportunity that he could have gone to lock and Trent Liero could have gone into the second row where he was playing last year. I've got a feeling Liero might come off the bench for King there now, if that's the way Bellyache is looking. Very interesting for Sean Bloor owners. Very interesting for Melbourne Storm fans. Could have a dynamic second rower there with Katoa and Bloor, so that could be anything. One to watch. Tyron Wishart moved into hooker position to start. I liked him. He was busy in defence, made a ton of tackles. Service was good out of dummy half, but he's playing behind Harry Grant there, so he will, if an injury occurs and he does get that spot, I hope they don't dick around with what they did last year. They put him at fullback and put him at wing and put him in the halves. He looks to me like he's a hooker. Defended well, like I said, so one to watch. Other than that, Jonah Pezzett was decent, without being great. Yeah, I'm not too sold on Jonah Pezzett. I think he's still got a long way. He's got a massive future ahead of him, but he'll be one that Sticky has in his little black book. He had a couple of games last year, scored pretty well, but it'll be interesting to see if he gets a start over that Origin period. The Dogs, there is so much to talk about with the Dogs here, with what they dished up. Blake Taff was awesome. He was absolutely phenomenal. We ran for 110 metres, 11 runs, He was huge. He super energetic, Blake Taff. Worked in well in the back line, popped up everywhere. was willing to take a run out of yardage. He was pretty good. Can't see it. Can't see anyone picking him really unless you were looking to go for a mid-ranger if you had hopes of a Jaden Campbell. Now he's out till round 5. Blake Taft's definitely an option, although there's probably more value in other Bulldogs players there that you probably don't want to stack your team with too many Bulldogs players. The two wingers, Wilson and Skelton, they had blinders as well. Wilson ran for 101 metres, Skelton 159. Skelton was super busy, 15 runs. Good base on him. Scored a try as well. Look, I don't know if any of them are going to get a start. I think Wilson possibly, if anyone. That little move he put on the 5'8" from Storm, the little Roger Tuivasa-Sheck step, left him clutching at absolute air, was beautiful to watch. He did get the nod at the end of last year. He played a couple of games, but again, probably not one that anyone is too interested in. The one everyone is interested in is Bronson Xerri. Had a whale of a game. Started a little bit slow, looked a bit tentative, but he's been out for 4 years, so that is fair enough. Fair game for him. 16 runs total, so his base was massive. 161 runs all up, scored a try, set up another, line breaks. His game was so well rounded, and he would have scored that many supercoach points. It would have been ridiculous. Super game from him. I think he did himself a heap of favours to get in that round 1 spot. Again, a little bit of debate whether they go with Carraz and Crichton in the centres, but Bronson Xerri looks good. He looks good for a guy who hasn't played football for 4 years. The halves there, Matt Burton, Drew Hutchison. Matt Burton sort of got left down the left-hand side. A bit quiet, but in saying that, he didn't have his star-studded left-hand edge out there. He didn't have Crichton and he didn't have Kikau, or Josh Adokar, who had a blinder in the All-Stars game. So I'd wait on Matt Burton. I'd wait to see what happens in the next trial, but probably one you're not going to go anyway. Drew Hutchison looked good. If he gets a nod at halfback, he looked really good. He was playing right and left-hand side. He was sweeping, commanding the ball, had 8 runs, only 50 metres, but his defence was good. No, one tackle break there. Unfortunately for him, he sort of got subbed off, and then Toby Sexton come on, and he had a really good game as well. But Drew Hutchison around the mid 300k mark. I'd be looking for him in our CTWs as a potential cheapie. Even if you don't play him, I think if he gets the number 7 jersey, he's worth a look at, and he's worth a risk there. Starting in the front, though, there was Max King. Max King was massive. Reid Marnie, he was also good. His service out of dummy half was really nice. Farmer Silly ended up starting there. He didn't have a great output. He only had 6 runs for 65 metres. Defence was pretty handy. Missed a couple of tackles there, but still. If you're looking for a bottom dollar cheapie, again, you can't have all these Bulldogs players in your side. There are so many there that are going to be up for grabs. But if you're desperate, he's there. Sam Hughes, one we want to talk about. Massive raps on this kid. Scored a try, all but I think there looked like there was a bit of separation between the ball, but they cleared that and there was an obstruction. So all but had a try right under the sticks. Huge, had 15 runs for 140 metres, 2 tackle busts. He didn't miss a tackle, which will be massive. The Cameron Serraldo there, he'll be looking at that thinking, you little ripper. I think they've got themselves an absolute gun there. Yeah, 13 tackles, 0 missed. So I think he'll be thereabouts. Even if he doesn't get the starting role, he'll still get a lot of minutes off the bench there. And yeah, looked every bit a first grader. It wasn't overawed by the occasion, albeit a trial. But yeah, no, he looked really, really good. Next up, we got the Indigenous All-Stars versus the Maori All-Stars. That was a huge game. The intensity there that those two play with is massive. I love watching this game every year. The Maori All-Stars started off out of the blocks hard. Joe Tarpany, if you were looking for a player, instead of going with Payne Haas had a bit of a rickety start today in his game. Joseph Tarpany, if he plays lock, I am picking him. If he plays lock because Horsburgh's out for 4 weeks, I'm going to pick him absolutely. He was dynamite. try, line break, you name it. He had 8 tackle busts. He was massive. I think he only played about 47 minutes, but his Supercoach score equated to over 100. Yeah, I hope Sticky just lets him run free. I know he's got a lot of forwards there that he's going to contend with, but Joe Tarpany was really good. Josh Adokar was massive. He got a double for the Indigenous All-Stars there. I like the look of Josh Adokar this year. He was massive with his defence. His defence, actually, he was really G'd up for that game, you could tell. 2 tries scored, line break. Yeah, real good from Josh Adokar. His defence was the main thing. I thought he was nearly man of the match for the All-Stars there, but not to be. Latrell Mitchell looked good. Plenty of runs. I think he had 15, 16 runs. Heaps of involvement. Hammer, so he was really good. I was impressed with how much speed he had. He beat 3 or 4 blokes there to get a tricky trindle, chip over the top, score that awesome try. Most impressed with Hammer was his 5 or 10s, very limited 5 or 10 minutes at fullback. They put a grubber in or a kick over the top. I'm not sure what it was, but Hammer grabbed it, beat 3 or 4 players, tiptoed along the back there, the goals, beat another, got outside and ended up getting outside the in-goal line. There was massive play. I watched that and just went, yep, I'm getting him. I did have Karaz there in my starting side for my Supercoach team, but I am going on the Hammer. He's got an easy draw by coming up, but looked superb. He did. He looks awesome. Looks really fit. Braden Trindle, Nicho Hynes. Now, a little bit that I saw, Trindle is going to take a fair bit of ball off Nicho Hynes compared to what Matty Moylan did. In saying that, I don't think Braden Trindle has a very friendly Supercoach game. He had a massive game, man of the match, 2 try assists, conducted the team well. I think he scored under 40 Supercoach points with all that. A lot of these try assists come off kicks. So he didn't get the line break assists that come with that, but he played really well. If you're looking for a person in a 5'8" spot, he could be an option there if you're looking to go for a cheapie. Nicho Hynes, on the other hand, I thought he had a really good game without overplaying his hand. In saying that, you've got Trindle there that's had a whale of a game, barely gets 40 points. Nicho Hynes, I think he was around about the 70-point mark there. And he had a relatively quiet game, although his base was right up. He had 20-plus runs. So Nicho Hynes, massive one. Got the goal kicking as well. A couple of people were a bit worried about that, so that was good to see. Who else have we got here? Adam Elliott. Adam Elliott was good. He's a 500k prospect. Heap of runs, heap of tackles. Had the offload as well with a couple of tackle busts. If you're looking at Adam Elliott, I can understand it. If you're not looking at Adam Elliott and you're looking for a little bit of job security there, I think he's a good buy. Josh Curran, not many runs. He was on an edge. I'm presuming he's been training in the middle role at Canterbury, although he made 30-something tackles. So big motor on him, good work rate. Jermaine Hopgood was good as well. If you're looking for a premier or a star-studded second row forward, Jermaine Hopgood's always a good option. Other than that there, Hohepa Puru, people got good raps on him. I thought he was good without being fantastic. The Maori All-Stars, Dane Gagai had a good game, I thought. His tough runs that he was doing out of yardage were really good. I can't see him having as good a year as he did last year with Dom Young being unavailable outside him now, but fingers crossed he can keep that base stats up, because that was the reason that he was scoring really high. So if he keeps that up, that'll be one to watch. Leo Thompson was really, really good. I'm sure he's going to go to another leg. I don't think he's going to be a viable option because you've got so much talent in around that 400-something mark, 400k mark. But Leo Thompson was really, really good. He'll be one to watch. If there's going to be a breakout front rower, I think it's going to be him. We go on to Xavier Willison. Xavier Willison was massive. He ended up starting the game, scored a try. He gives off massive Ola Kawadu vibes. Got the hairdo. He is massive. He is mobile. Looked dangerous every time he touched the ball. If you do not have Xavier Willison in your side, put him in. He's also, now we've got Sam Hughes, Xavier Willison. There's kind of a bit of a decision to make there with how we run our front rowers. Do we go gun front rower into a Sam Hughes, Xavier Willison? Xavier Willison, even if he doesn't get a lot of game time, he's going to score a hell of a lot of points in short amount of minutes if given the opportunity, I think. Britton Okora was good. I had him for an anytime try score. It didn't happen, but he still got a lot of ball, runs an awesome line. He's one of the guns, a second row forward. If you've got him, I'm more than happy to run with him if I was you. Joey Tarpanay, fingers crossed he goes back to 2022 stats. That game that he had for the Maori All-Stars, he would have been easily the man of the match had the Maori All-Stars won. He was massive for them. Fingers crossed he can start doing what he did in 2022 for that Canberra Raiders squad. I'm a bit worried about the people around him, but he looked good. 8 tackle busts, like I said. We love that. Trey Mooney was good when he came on and got an opportunity. Jack Howarth looked really good as well. I think he warmed into the game at the start. He had a couple of wild passes everywhere, but he looked every bit a first grader. Keenan Palacia, I was hoping to see more from Keenan Palacia. I did want him in my starting front row spot. He is dual position, but not to be. He's got a massive future ahead of him if he can get the minutes there at the Titans, but it is a wait and see on him, unfortunately. Righto, first of our Saturday games was the Knights versus the Sharkies. The Knights ended up absolutely creaming the poor old Sharkies. The Knights ran away with it. Huge news out of the Knights. They found another superstar fullback. This Fletcher Sharp, he was dynamic. He was everywhere in that team. Electric every time he touched the ball. He was making half breaks from kick returns. He was really, really good, old Fletcher Sharp. Their winger pairing ended up being, I can't even say that, Mostretic, I think his name is. He was really good. Tommy Janksens, he sort of warmed up into the game as well, made a couple of errors, but was really consistent. The one I really wanted to look at was Mapapalangi, unfortunately knocked out cold in the first run. So we ended up having to go without him, without having a look at him, but I still think he's got a bright future. I think he's every chance of getting a run at some stage for the Knights. Anari Tuwala was good without being great again, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see who gets that right wing spot from Dom Young. The 5'8" battle and the halfback battle for the Knights continues. Hastings and Gamble got the rub of the wood to start with. Gamble looked like a man that was nervous, that looked like he was trying to produce something every time he got the ball. Looked like a man that is absolutely fighting for his jersey with good reason. But Hastings, I can't see anyone taking Hastings' spot. Had a hand in nearly everything. The first 3 tries, he put a kick in that Mostretic ended up batting back and they scored off that. Put Dylan Lucas over twice, had a nice inside ball. Dylan Lucas scores. He's another one we're going to talk about. Dylan Lucas looks fantastic. That battle is going to be insane for that edge spot there. Hastings looked good. He kicked well, controlled the ruck there. I'm pretty sure he's going to get that halfback spot there. It'll be interesting to see who his partner is, because there is even more people stepping up that we'll get into. Phoenix Crossland now. Brayley looks like he's going to miss round 1 with a hamstring injury. That is terrible news for him. The poor bastard, he cannot catch a break. Phoenix Crossland, if he plays 80 minutes, if you're looking for a cheaper hooker option, he's every bit a chance. I think he played really well the back end of the year. It'll be interesting to see how long Brayley's out. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Dylan Lucas, massive, 2 tries, line break, heap of tackles, heap of runs. There was a lot of talk about Kai Pearce-Paul. If his toe's right, he's going to get that spot. I don't think that's the case. Dylan Lucas on the left-hand side for the Knights game there was massive. Chimed in well, hard ball runner, hard tackler, got the game breaking in him. His stat there for the New South Wales Cup that the commentators touched on, 12 games, 11 tries. I am so keen on Dylan Lucas. I hope he gets 80 minutes. He will be the first picked in my CTW. Cogger come on, had an impact immediately, kicked the 40-20. He looked really good, set up a try. Played really well. Looked like he hadn't missed a beat since the grand final there. Worked well with all the people there in the Knights. He probably still knows a bit of the Knights system as he was there to start with. A couple of good cheabies there as well. Tom Cant, he sort of started a breakaway, got a nice offload that started a line break. He looked really good. I know he's got a lot of raps on him from his juniors, under 20s and stuff like that. Tom Cant's a real strong player. David Armstrong had a blinder on the right wing. I don't think he's in contention. He looks like he needs to put a little bit of weight on, but he was massive. Line breaks, try assists, you name it. The Smoky, come over from England, Will Price. The bleached blonde hair dyed on him was awesome because he stood out. You've got to give a good look at him. He looked electric every time he touched the ball. Good, decent goal kicking as well. Scored a try. I think he had a try assist, line break assist. He looked really, really good. From the Sharkies, Cade Dykes, we didn't really get to see a lot of him. They didn't get a lot of ball to him. He was willing. When he did get the ball early, he was having those good hard runs. But yeah, not really a very Supercoach friendly game from Cade Dykes. They didn't get a lot of opportunities. The Knights sort of just steamrolled them, although the Sharks did look really good at the start of the game. Kyle Liro, everyone's pretty keen on him. Relatively quiet. I thought Hiroti actually had a really good game. So if someone stood out for me in that back line there, it was probably Hiroti. Sione Katoa, he scored a nice try down that edge. Looked the goods. Around the forwards, Oregon Kafusi was good. He scored a try. I think he laid on another one with a nice little offload to the hooker there at Beryl. Tommy Hazelton looked good, one to watch. Although besides that, Teague Wilton, he was decent, but if you're looking at him, I think you're clashing straws. Cameron McInnes played good at lock, but you've also got Dale Finucane to come back. From there, it was basically the young guys from the Sharkies just getting absolutely wailed on by the Knights. They didn't get a lot of ball, but yeah, Knights a lot to look in there. I don't know how many of them are going to play, but they looked really, really good. Will Price was the standout for me once he got on his a cut above the rest, even though he was playing New South Wales Cup boys, basically. He's too good for that New South Wales Cup, if that's anything for his highlights to go off. The Roosters versus the Eagles. Roosters too good there. They had a massive side, like nearly full strength. James Tedesco, a bit quiet, played a bit average, I thought. He was, again, doing that, trying too hard. Had a couple of errors when he was coming out of his own half, dropped balls. We'll put that down to, fingers crossed, just being the first game of the year, getting the nerves out. Tupou was a guy that everyone was saying, he's not going to get a run. 2 ripping tries. He looked really good. I like the look of Tupou. I've always liked the look of Tupou, to be honest. I'm unsure how they're going to drop him, especially with the news coming out with Dom Young. Bit of a neck injury there from Dom Young. Looks like he is going to miss going to Vegas. This is a Sunday night I'm recording this, so that's my news on him at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens there with Dom Young. Luke Keary and Sam Walker look pretty good together. Hopefully they can join a bit more of a combination. The big one there for us, though, is Sitili Tupouniua. Got the start there, scored a try. I'm still so undecided and got no idea what's going to happen with Tupouniua. Angus Crichton and Sua Wong didn't even start on the first 17. He was in the reserves in the jersey 19, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Everyone who's got Sua Wong, maybe think about it twice. That could very well be Tupouniua into an Angus Crichton coming off the bench. In saying that, I'm just not sure. Tupouniua has the starting role there when they get to Vegas, but it'll be interesting to see. Another guy we're looking at is Terrell May. Terrell May come on. I think he got about 50 to 60 Supercoach points there. Barely played 40 minutes. I think he was in the 37-minute range. Huge impact off the bench. I don't think this man needs any more than 35 to 40 minutes to get up around 50, 60 points. 16 runs for him. He was instrumental to getting that go forward going. The starters were a little bit sloppy and he sort of got real direct, running hard, tucking the ball under the arm, good offloads, good tackle busts as well. from Terrell May. If you're going to go him, I can't turn you off it. Connor Watson was interesting as well. I think his minutes were probably a little bit elevated due to Brandon Smith playing in the All-Stars game. Although he did score a nice little try there for the Roosters there. Onto our Sea Eagles. Again, they were pretty light on, apart from Tommy Talau in the back and Jackson Paulo. Jackson Paulo scored a nice try. Little bat off the thigh there and went in. Vega, he was willing a few little poor reads in defence though, but he looked really good. Taniela Paseka, if anyone is looking at Taniela Paseka for a front row forward, he's in the 500k range, looked really good. Had him last year in draft, scores you 50 points minimum every game, with Tofafa Sipley looking like he's going to be missing the first couple of rounds. I can only talk you into Paseka. He looked really good. Burbo was decent. Nothing out of the ordinary, but he looks like he's going to cement a second row left edge there spot. So that is good to see. Schuster, unfortunately, he's going to be out of round one by the looks of it. I think calf injury. He's noted for having calf injury problems. Nathan Brown is one I want to talk on. I brought this up on my very first episode when I did my team reveal. I can't believe he's not there in Supercoach yet, but Nathan Brown, I expect him to be priced at about 350k. Now that Tofafa Sipley is gone, fingers crossed, Jake Trbojevic moves into the starting front row spot and Nathan Brown can get that lock spot. He was very aggressive, had some good carries. I like the look of him. I like the look of him a lot. So fingers crossed he can get a lock spot there. Who else? Yeah, Tommy Talau, he was good without being great. Not really sure how they're going to work that centre pairing and combination out there. Looks like Jackson Paulo is going to get a start on the wing, so one to watch. Next up, Parramatta Eels against Raiders. Now the 5'8 spot, I don't think we're any closer in finding out who gets that 5'8 spot. Ethan Strange and KO Weeks were very evenly matched. KO Weeks scored a try, but don't really let that sort of confuse you into thinking that he had the wood over him. It was a beautiful piece of kicking by Nick Kotrick. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I thought Morgan Harper was pretty good for the Eels. Bailey Simonson was really good for the Eels as well. Strong in defence, good couple of attacking plays. Ethan Sanders, he's one to watch for the upcoming, but I don't think he's going to feature in the first couple of games. Brendan Hands. Now, they gave Brendan Hands this role. I was nervous about Brendan Hands getting this starting spot because they do look really light. Generally, when they're light on with their teams and a player that is fighting for a position is in that, it looks like they are going to miss out on that spot. Brendan Hands was awesome. Missed out on a try by a bee's dick. Got over the line, but was held up. Lost the ball a little bit as well. But his minutes were also inflated because young Matthew Arthur come on his very first tackle. He got knocked out. So his minutes were inflated, but that can only help him because he was pretty good. I thought Brendan Hands, his service out of dummy half looked good. A lot of tackling. Looked the business. Sean Lane started on that left-hand edge. Was reasonably quiet for the big fella standards, although when they were down near the line, did look kind of damaging. Looks like he hasn't lost too much there. He is a fucking tall unit, old Sean Lane. He looks like he's going to get that offload away again. So if he's not in your second row forward team, get him in. He looks like he is going to be locked in there. One that was surprising was Kelma Tuilagi. Now, he's come from Manly. He looked really good. Had a line break, had a bit of a try contribution and a try assist. I like the look of him. I'm unsure whether he is going to get that second row spot, but if he does, one to watch. Sort of in and out with injuries there last year with Manly, so maybe one to have a look at. Ryan Madison was good at lock, but unsure if he gets that lock spot. I highly doubt it with Hopgood coming in. I think Ryan Madison is now an out-and-out bench player. Wiramu Greg was really good. Got a lot of minutes into him, played well. I think if one of the front row boys go down, for the starting team of Parramatta Eels, and Wiramu Greg gets selected. He had a really good section there last year where he did fill that spot in for the front rowers when Regan Campbell-Gillard went down. So I think he's every bit an option. We'll move on to the Raiders. Chevy Stewart, unfortunately, he had a pretty quiet game, old Chevy Stewart. Not what we wanted to see. Could just be nerves. He is still so young. He's 19 years old. So fingers crossed it was just a bit of nerves from him. And they give him another start there next week and he can perform even better on that. Next guy I'm going to talk about, James Schiller, was really good. Scored a try, set another one up, saved a try, had another try contribution into another. He was really, really good. Now, I sort of touched on this a little bit in my front row forward. I think that podcast, if you haven't seen that, have a look at this. But also in my 5'8 podcast, I touched on it as well. Now, you've got Ethan Strange, KO Weeks, Xavier Savage, Chevy Stewart, James Schiller, Nick Kotrick, all these guys that are super coach cheapies that are in the mix around that sort of, are they going to play, aren't they going to play? Now, this is a big one because James Schiller had an absolute blinder. He also trusted James Schiller on the wing up there at Newcastle in the semi-final. He also had a really good game there, I felt, scored a try there. The more I look at this KO Weeks, Xavier Savage, Chevy Stewart, Ethan Strange sort of setup, the less keen I am on any of them. I do not want to get there's round zero, obviously, we know about that with the boys going over to Vegas, and then when the round one teams come out with these guys, I do not want to have these cheapies locked in my side, get to bloody the second week of Team List Tuesdays, and then half of these blokes aren't even there. Like Ethan Strange, he could miss out on the 5'8 spot. Everyone think, oh, yep, he'll get a centre spot. James Schiller had a blinder. There's every chance Ethan Strange misses out on that spot, a spot altogether. Who gets the 5'8 spot out of them? KO Weeks and Ethan Strange, I think, is anyone's guess. Like I said, KO Weeks had a decent game. He looks like a big body. It looks like they bulked him up. He's got massive shoulders on him. Defence was decent by the two of them. Ethan Strange, again, he's quite a big boy. He looks really, really fit. But it is a toss of the coin to see what happens there. I am just going to avoid both of them, I think. If I was going to get one of them, I think Xavier Savage is one. He looks really good, even though on the wing he came in, made himself available for a couple of scoots there. A couple of really good tackle busts. So Xavier Savage, I think, is probably the safest out of all of them. If Chevy Stewart goes down, or if they don't trust Chevy Stewart, I think Xavier Savage will then move into that fullback role. Sami Saulo was good. Zach Wolford, decent. I think the number one hooker guy there that we'll have to have a bit of a look was probably Danny Levi. He had an awesome little try assist where he tapped the ball and kicked over the top. So he'll be one to look at, Danny Levi, if there is minutes on offer there. But Stiggy loves running a 40-minute hooker. So again, unsure about what to do there. Sami Saulo, like I said, was really good. Pumped a lot of minutes into the body. Adam Mariota, he's one to watch. Keep an eye on him. If he gets a run at lock for that team, he will nearly be a must. He's cheap. So please look into him. Now, who else have we got from the Raiders? So Nick Kotrick, again, a couple of people will be looking at him for a bit of an option. I can't see him getting a starting spot. I think they're going to go for a bit of new blood there. Nick Kotrick was a little bit on the nose towards the end of last year. So probably going to look to avoid him. Now we've got the Rabbits Dragons. I watched on the news, they sort of bagged the Dragons out a little bit, saying that they were in it at halftime, but it all came crashing down for them. If you are a Dragons supporter, do not stress as much as what the news is leading on. The Dragons were good defensively, really good defensively, I thought. Their first half was immense. They turned up for each other. I think Flano there, the coach, he's got them purely thinking about defence. I liked what I saw from the Dragons. I'm a bit unsure about the whole Lomax thing in the wing position on the right-hand wing, but we'll get a bit into that a little bit later. Jacob Gagai, a bit of an in-and-out night for him. I think he's going to start on the wing. There's rumours that he's starting on the wing. They've gone through a lot of trouble to get his visa sorted, so hopefully he starts on the wing. I'm probably going to avoid him. He didn't have a very good base, didn't have a lot of runs. So don't be fooled that Jacob Gagai is going to get put up on Supercoach the next couple of weeks. He'll be bottom dollar. Please don't go there. I think he's a trap. Apart from that, Alex Johnson was pretty quiet. Isaiah Tass was all right without being fantastic, but he should get a bit of a centre spot there. But again, I'm not sure about Isaiah Tass. It'll all depend on which side he even plays on once Whiten comes in. Lachlan Ilias got the reins. He was decent, but again, he's not really an option for Supercoach. I can't see it. Davida Totola, I was super keen on him before I watched this game. Now, I thought Totola wouldn't have a lot of help from Burgess. I didn't see Sean Keppie as being a big minute man, and I thought there was going to be a lot of minutes there for Totola. I was dead wrong. Sean Keppie had a blinder of a game. I think he scored up around the 50 sort of mark there for his Supercoach points. If Sean Keppie gets a start at prop for the Vegas game, I think he is more of a look at than Totola, although Totola was really good. If you are going Totola, I'm probably not going to talk you out of it because he was really, really good. But yeah, I'm just not sure on him anymore now that Sean Keppie's come into the fray because I didn't expect it. Keon Kaloamatangi, he's off to the left-hand edge there. That'll work wonders for Cody Walker, I think. I don't know if it'll work wonders for Kaloamatangi because Cody Walker plays out the back a great deal on his left-hand edge. So Keon Kaloamatangi, if you're looking at going him, I'd probably wait a couple of weeks because Cody Walker does use his second row forward there on the left-hand edge. He's a bit of a dummy runner and shifts out the back to Latrell. Jai Arrow, he's about 450k. Looked pretty handy at a front row position there. He's dual. I hope he gets a lot more minutes, but it looked pretty good because Cam Murray played a lot of minutes at lock. When he was coming off, Tallis Duncan wasn't going over to an edge. He went into the middle. So if you're looking for someone with a bit of value at 450k, it'll be interesting to see how many minutes they pump into Jai Arrow. It'll be interesting to see the makeup of their bench because Tallis Duncan, if he is on the bench, look for Jai Arrow. If it's a skinny bench with not many middles, and they've got Tallis Duncan there, and there's no other edge rower, I'm going to be seriously looking at Jai Arrow because Tallis Duncan came in for Cameron Murray. So it looks like Tallis Duncan is going to be a middle. Fingers crossed that is going to be the case because Jai Arrow looks like a really good option. Unfortunately, that makes Tallis Duncan a cross. We don't want to go Tallis Duncan if he's going to be, coming in 20, 25 minutes. Kind of like what he was doing last year. I think the hype around him getting an edge role a little bit overplayed, so one to probably look away from. The Dragons, the big one there we're going to have a look at was Zach Lomax moving to the right-hand side. Didn't work very well. He showed plenty of enthusiasm. He showed up ready to play football, but unfortunately for Zach Lomax, that right-hand edge, he was still doing those crazy things he was doing. He just looked like he was trying to overplay his hand a bit. He came in, took some good scoots, did a couple of the tough carries, but again, I'm just not convinced on it. I thought he was going to play this role where he would come in, and it looked like he was going to do that in the second minute. He popped up in the middle and shifted a ball out to the left-hand side, but apart from that, I didn't really see it. Jack Bird inside him looks quite good for a centre. I thought he had a great little start. But apart from that, he's pretty highly priced. I'm probably not going to look at him. Kyle Flanagan. I actually really like the look of Kyle Flanagan. The more I look at the KO Weeks dramas and the Ethan Strange dramas for my 5/8s, the more I am thinking of going Kyle Flanagan. Now, Kyle Flanagan, 300k. I don't know how he's not a hooker 5'8", because I think he should be a hooker 5'8". He played a couple of games at hooker for the Doggies last year. 14 runs, which means he has got run first on the agenda, which is good for him, I think, because if he can shore up the line and get a bit of confidence out of his ball running, and his defence. His defence was really good. I think the couple of games he played in hooker for the Dogs last year is probably only going to do him more justice. Now, he was highly used, 48 receipts to Ben Hunt's 30, although Ben Hunt did get taken off after half-time. But that's good. That means he's getting a plenty of ball. Marshke come on in the second half, and he's still got a lot of ball. So Flanagan looks to be a serious option on that left-hand side. 17 tackles throughout the stint, only 2 missed. So his base is potentially in the 30s anyway, and we're looking at him. He looked like in games over about 70 minutes, he's looking like a 44-point average. Man, I'm thinking of taking that, especially with the edge he's got. Now, I sort of expected Ravalawa to still be on the right-hand wing. That's changed. Now, his side is Jaden Su'a as the second rower, Moses Sui, Ravalawa, and he's also got Tyrell Sloan sweeping. Now, there's a lot of points. I'm not sure how that's going to go defensively. I think it may need a bit of work. I think teams will target that edge. But there's points there. There's a lot of points there. Suli, Ravalawa, Su'a, and Tyrell Sloan running at the back. Jacob Little, there's a bit of a call for Jacob Little if he does get 80 minutes at hooker. I think he's a bit of an option there if you're looking at someone around the 400k mark. Looked pretty good. The start of his game, he looked like he wanted to run first, which is always a good option when you see your hookers do that. But there is a man called Connor Mulheisen. I think that's how you say his name. He looked pretty good as well when he came off. Tom Eisenhuth started at a second row spot. Whether he keeps that or not, I'm highly doubtful with the signings. Raymond Fatala-Mariner, he's 100% going there, and potentially Leishiana Leilua is tipped to go there, although there are a few rumours he is being looked at by the Raiders. So Eisenhuth, I would probably steer clear of. I'm not even sure he gets that round 1 spot. Filiame Fafita came off the bench and looked really good. Ben Hunt, he was on Ben Hunt's side on the right-hand side there. I'd rate him. He looked like a unit. I think Ben Hunt knew what he's got outside him. He tried to use him a couple of times. Looked the goods. Who else have we got? Dylan Egan is a bottom dollar second rower there. He looked really, really good. Energetic in defence. Not many runs. I think he only had 2 runs, but still one to watch. Christian Tuapoloto. Interesting to see if he gets a wing spot. I highly doubt it, but he may be a bit of a backup wing position there for him. He was pretty good. We all know he's got some good carries, but a few defensive reads that went a bit of a stray, which didn't help his cause. All in all, I think the Dragons' defence looks pretty good. They kept them to six apiece in the first half. If you're a Dragons fan, don't stress about the scoreline. They were much better than what they let on today. Next one will be the Warriors versus the Tigers. Now, Tigers, again, you got to be careful what you hear in the news. They were praising Benji start of the season. They look pretty clunky, the Tigers. Anyone who comes in and says, "You beauty, we've beat the Warriors," there's a lot in it that we've got to sort of divulge now that is going into the Warriors-Tigers game. Warriors basically had a reserve grade side out there, and they were down a man, had a bloke sent off with a high tackle after 20 minutes. So the fact that there was only 2 points in it is a little bit concerning for the Tigers fans. Although they did defend well at the start of the game. So yeah, there's not a great deal to come out of the Warriors because they were so skinny, basically a reserve grade side. Rogers Tuivasa-Sheck, I think his ownership is going to go up. He was sitting at about 16-17%, but it's going to go up. He looks like he hasn't lost an ounce of pace. His defence was good. He's a champion rugby league player, so I can only praise him. His first little comeback there, potentially versus the West Tigers team that is full strength or thereabout. He looked really, really good. Really good today. Freddie Lussick did himself no dramas there. He was decent, attacked well, defended well. Tom Alay was another one that was really good. I think if that man ever finds himself in a position where he can get a good 40 minutes guaranteed again. He will be one to look at as supercoach. Jackson Ford was decent. Jacob Laban, he scored the opening try there for the Warriors. He was really good. But yeah, unfortunately, just not a lot to look at there for the Warriors. Luke Metcalf was decent. He was kicking goals as well, which is one to watch if Sean Johnson goes down. Looks like he might have the goal kicking. And Chanel Harris-Tavita, he was reasonably good as well in his comeback. But I think Luke Metcalf has got to be the man there. The pair Sean Johnson in the halves. He was the dominant half, I thought, in that Warriors side. The West Tigers now, holy dooly. Aiden Caesar, everyone is going to see him that he got the try, and they're going to jump on him. I'm scared because please have a little look into Aiden Caesar and know what you're going to get with him. Scored a try. It was a good try. His involvement around the team is good. It's always going to be good. His game structure is good. He can get the boys to where they need to be. He just doesn't really have that X factor. He doesn't really like running the ball. 2 runs in total for Aiden Caesar. The biggest one is that Aiden Caesar looks to be like he doesn't have the kicking duties. That was the only thing that really made him relevant, I believe. Please don't be fooled by him scoring a try. If you're looking at Aiden Caesar's stats of 2 runs, his base stats, I think Kyle Flanagan is a much better option. And then I think KO Weeks is even a better option. I'm worried Caesar's going to sit around the 300 mark and just plateau there and just be a pain in the ass for you. Charlie Staines and Tupou on the wings there, they were reasonably quiet. Jareem Buller had a couple of nice touches, but again, he was also a little bit quiet. They just don't seem like they can get the ball out to their centres and their wingers and their fullbacks. They struggled with it last year, scoring points. But yeah, again, that's what you get from the Tigers. Huge news, though, from the Tigers is Api Coruscant. Now, if everyone is worried about what is going to happen at hooker, we have found our answer. Api Coruscant is kicking goals, 80-minute hooker, priced 600k under, I think thereabouts. I don't have it in front of me, I'm just guessing. Api Coruscant is ticking my box. Last year, when playing at hooker and kicking goals for the last 6 games, he averaged over 70 points. If you're looking at a Reece Robertson or a Wade Egan or something around there, change that and put Coruscant in. I'm very excited by him kicking goals. He's a decent goal kicker as well. I was looking at some of the numbers. Everyone can put this thing in about the Tigers. How many points are they going to get anyway? But looking at his games that he did kick goals, he was getting 12s, 8s, 10s, 16 in one of them and another 8. That's 8 points that he's not going to get, and I was thinking about him anyway. So I love it. I think every bit of a chance that he is at a bit of a discounted rate now that he has that kicking duties in. Hopefully he averages an extra 10 points a game and he can bolster up into one of those. I don't know if he'll be an elite, but someone that you can sort of have during the origin period as well would be really, really handy if you can keep him until then. The only problem is he's got the first round bye. That is going to turn nearly everyone off. But I think if you ran him and you just went, I'm going to stick with him and stuff it, I'm going to have a Brendan Hands or someone like that, a Lussick, and I'm just going to put up with it, and then second week, buys out of the road then, and I've got him until round, I think 15, 16 is their next buy. I'm all for it, and I'm very excited by it. Isaiah Papali'i, he looked really good. He looked aggressive in defence, running strong. Fingers crossed he can get back to his best in Supercoach. He's at a discounted rate this year due to a bit of a quiet year last year, but he looked really good as well. Josh Felaherty, I was hoping that he would look like getting in there in the centre spot to start. He had a decent game, but I'm still not sure that he's going to get that spot. Seyfarth starting. There's a new one. Starting over for Neil Pole. Interesting to watch. Seyfarth scored a good try. He was decent in lock. I'm surprised about this because Pole looks really good. Bit unsure what Benji Marshall's going there, but he did say no position is safe and everything is up for grabs. Samuel Afinu had a bit of an up and down night, had a good line break, looked every bit of first grader. I'd be looking at him as well, but had a bit of trouble there and he got sent off. But anyway, Talon De Silva, Jake Simpkins, both look reasonably good there, the backup hookers, but again, will only be one if Api Coruscant goes down. So one to watch there, but I'm just not sure about the Tigers. You know, I would have been right into them if they had put on a really good showing against reserve grade Warriors side. In saying that, they were over there in Christchurch and it was sold out. So not often a trial game gets sold out. So maybe the Warriors were really, really up for that, and the Tigers just saw it as a bit of a trial match. Next one we got is the Broncos, 46-20 winners over the Cows. Broncos started really good, and then they sort of fell into a bit of a lull. But again, the second half they really showed through in their performance. Just a bit more of a class. They out finessed their Cowboys opponents. Cowboys did well to score 20 points against them, though. I think they went into the break only 2 down. The team that they had put together, you would say, predominantly a reserve grade side, but a few there. Semi Valame was huge, 2 intercepts, 1 led to a try. Had one where he came very, very close as well on the wing. He ran for a truckload of metres. He was super busy, 15 runs, 2 metres off getting 200 metres, 198 metres, 7 tackle busts. He was massive. I think he did himself every favour in the world. Potential get a wing spot there that's up for grabs. Viliame Vailea, a bit quiet, I thought. Then again, didn't have the sort of cavalry to get him in good field position and give him a few opportunities, so he was a bit light on there. Duffy looks pretty good. I was pretty impressed with him. I'm not sure how much time he'll get there, but he looked decent. McKaylee looked decent as well, although I'm unsure if he gets a prop position there at the starting team. They are pretty stacked in that position. Finafuiaki didn't play too many minutes. Doesn't have a massive base on him, but what he has got is X factor. Scored a beautiful try, barged over. He had a try contribution in another one where he made a good tackle on Corey Oates, spilled the lollies, and they went in from there. Now there is position there. Now Leilua is departed, but I don't think he will be the man that steps up into that position. Even if he does, I'm unsure if he's going to be a 60-minute back rower. He may come on as a good bit of impact, get about 20, 30 minutes into his belt, could score you 60 or 70 by doing it, but then the games that he doesn't have those upsides, he could also score you 20s and 30s. So one to have a look, see how the team structure is around at the Cowboys when they announce their first round team, but for now we have a little bit of a no-go on him. The Broncos, Reece Walsh, he started off a little bit down. I think he was on about 10 points nearing half-time. Come out in the second half and brained it. 2 try assists, a try. I think he ended up with over 100 plus supercoach points, so he was massive. Corey Oates had an up and down night. He was good to start, but then had a mistake that led to a try. His try was decent, worked well on the edge there with Selwyn Cobbo. Now, Selwyn Cobbo, he could be one of the boom Supercoach stars of our CTW position. Now, usually when a centre goes from wing to centre, they lose their fantasy stats because they lose their opportunity for that easy score, easy try on the wing being put over and their base stats of taking runs. Now, Selwyn Cobbo, good argument there that he didn't really have a very good base. He was dynamic as a centre. Like I said, try assists, 2 try assists, line breaks. He ended up close to 100 points as well. Now, I can see that left-hand edge. I was very nervous about it to start with. Ezra Mam. Who else have we got over there? Pia Kura. We sort of thought that Cobbo was going to be on the right-hand side. Now, that wasn't the case today. Now, I'm not sure if that is going to be the case going into it because of Katoni Staggs, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Selwyn Cobbo looked real dangerous. So he's every bit a superstar in the making. He could be a CTW that goes from wing to centre, could make more money. Reece Walsh looked like he liked hitting him a lot. Yeah, I'm not going Cobbo, but if people watch that game alone, I'd be very interested in him. Albeit, take it with a grain of salt because the Cowboys were basically a reserve grade side. Corey Jensen got the nod at front row forward there. If you're looking for a mid-range to cheapie, front row forward, it looks like he is going to get the starting role. Every bit an opportunity there. Every bit an opportunity to make some money on. He was good. He came back for a second stint where other people were rested. So I really like the look of Corey Jensen. Payne Haas had a fucking shocker. Drop ball, penalty, then let a try in. He's better than that. He will be better than that. I'm glad he got that out in a trial because I'm really looking into Payne Haas. Probably less now that I've seen this trial and see that he does actually have a lot of people going to help him. The boys that they've signed from what they've lost look like they are going to really help Payne Haas. But yeah, he's the go-to front rower for me in Supercoach. Did tuck away the offload. Whether he was just instructed to get some game time under the legs, I'm not sure. Now this one, everyone, whatever the fuck you're doing, stop the video, get Brendan Piakura into your sides. He was fucking phenomenal. 2 tries, 2 line breakers, massive. He was huge. I think he got about 80 to 90 Supercoach points with limited minutes. He looks dynamic. Good ball running skills. Running out there, they've obviously let Capewell go for a reason. He looks like he's going to be a really good strike weapon. If you're worried about what to do in your 2 RFs, if you're thinking about if you've got Sean Lane, Curran, these type of blokes, Morgan Smithies, Kai Pearce-Pauls, don't worry about them. Brendan Piakura is your first pick. He looks like he's got massive upside. His defence was really good. He looks every bit a slam dunk, really, from what we've seen. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Cowboys, barely a first-grade side. But I loved what I saw. Jaden Hunt as well, he went well, except we'll be looking for him in our front row forward. If he does get a spot, he was playing on the edge. So Jordan Ricky will come into that and he'll probably move out. Fletcher Baker looked good, looked busy. He wanted to get his hand on the ball. But, yeah, if he stays on the bench, I'm probably not going to look at him with too much interest. Benjamin Tiakura, the big 2 metre plus man, he scored a nice little try there. Unsure if he gets a first round spot, but he still looks really, really good. In the end, Reece Walsh show. Loved it. Love watching Reece Walsh. You ride the wave with him though. Like I said, halftime, barely had 10 points. At the end of halftime, 110 points. So we ride the wave with the big fella, and if that's the way you're going to go, just expect that is what is going to happen when you take Reece Walsh. Last game for us, the Dolphins, 26-14 winners. They looked okay, the Dolphins. Obviously, second hit out for some of their players, first hit out for a lot. Titans were pretty light on, and to stay within 12 is a credit to the Titans' defence. If that is what Desi Hasler is putting up there, strong-willed defence, the Titans are going to be a really good side. They're going to be every bit in it for the competition for this year. Now, Jack Bostock and Tessie New, there's been a lot of talk about them Supercoach-wise. Are they going to be that left-hand edge? The Titans scored 2 pretty easy tries down that edge of Jack Bostock and Tessie New. Bit of a worry. Tessie New looks awesome with the ball. Now, on to Tom Flegler. Everyone was very, very interested in this bloke. I know he's penned in for a lot of teams here. Reasonably quiet. Only the 7 runs for 55 metres gained. A little bit underwhelming, to be honest, for him. I thought he was going to be a bloke that would just be run a minute sort of bloke, give me the ball, but he wasn't. 19 tackles with 0 missed, though, is really, really good for him. No tackle busts, but probably a little bit colder on Tom Flegler than what I thought I would be at the start of the year. Not saying that's his first hit out of the year. Wayne might have just told him to go a bit easy, or not go easy, but not have as big impact. You know, he did have a lot of minutes interchanged with a lot of other forwards there. So, look, one to watch, but there could be better options there if that is what Tom Flegler's game is going to be. But one to watch. Keep your eye on him. Jeremy Marshall-King. Now, this was a guy who I was pretty keen on, but he had a relatively quiet game as well. Service out of dummy half, awesome. He is obviously one of the guys that we need to see in the NRL at hooker. He a little bit injury prone towards the back end of the year, but yeah, didn't have a very good Supercoach score. I think he racked up in around less than 20. So nothing to concern. There just wasn't the plays from him sort of taking off. They were spreading the ball really well, the Dolphins. So don't be turned off these low scores on that by Jeremy Marshall-King. I still think he's going to be an integral part of their side and the points will come. Ewan Aitken in the second row forward. Now, this will be an interesting one when Bromwich comes back. I love Ewan Aitken in second row, especially if I can get him in CTWs, which we can. He played pretty well. He didn't shirk any responsibilities. Hit-ups were good. We know what we're going to get from Ewan Aitken from second row forward. He's had a fair bit of game time there. So, yeah, he's one to watch if he does get that spot there. But, again, Bromwich coming back. I think they've got enough forwards that they don't need him in the middle, although stranger things have happened there for the likes of those sort of players. Yeah, next up we got Tom Gilbert. He had a pretty decent game. I like the look of him in 13. He looks decent. He looks reasonably good there. Only the 7 runs, but still, he was an absolute beast in that. His tackles were 28, which I think were the most out of anyone. So, base looks good. Needs a bit of an uptick in runs for me, but I think that'll come. 28 tackles for 1 missed is really, really good from Tommy Gilbert. I think Wayne really likes him. Hopefully we can pump about 60-something minutes into his legs and he'll become really appealing. Jake Averillo come off the bench onto that left centre spot, had a bit of a shocker. His defence was decent, but a fair bit of drop ball. Did put Bostock, however you say his name, Bostock over for a nice little try, but he'll be sweating on that Jake Averillo, and I think there is a world where he gets on the number 14 off the bench. Now, if you like a man who can play every single position on the field pretty much, apart from front row, I think Jake Averillo's your man. Play on the halves, he can play hooker, can play centre. Put him on the wing, I'm sure he'd go right there, and can play fullback. Connolly Lemu, I also really like him. He scored a try. He looked damaging every time he had the ball. Really promising stuff from Connolly Lemu. I think he had a really, really good year last year. Came off the bench towards the back end of the year, but look, he's put his foot forward to say, yep, I'm here. I want to be a regular first grader. I want to be a starting regular first grader at that. From the Titans, again, they put out a reasonably skinny side, predominantly reserve graders, so there's not a great deal to go in here. Tony Francis, remember that name. He stood up Bostock and that side of the field, scored 2 really good tries. He looks a little bit like Khan Pereira. He's got the same haircut. Look, apart from that, there isn't a great deal of Supercoach relevant players. Isaac Fasul-Malawi, the brother of Tino, played decent, but still nothing too crazy. Harley Smith-Shields, he's got a lot of pace on him. He is super, super quick, but I don't think he's going to get a start over Jojo Fafita. Henkan Pereira, Joe Stimson maybe gets a bit of a start now that Fafita looks like he's not going to come back until round 5, but still not really sure about that. Apart from that, nothing really relevant there with the Titans, and that's going to wrap us up. That was a bit of a longer podcast. That is the longest time I've done this with the podcast. I've barely had time to breathe. I'm a little bit lightheaded. It's late at night. I think it's time to end it. Again, we have a league going, 4020 Sports. That league code is 726638. Please join. Bit of fun. Merch pack coming your way if you're the winner. Big shout outs on if you are the weekly winner. Going to have a bit of fun with it. It's going to be a good bit of fun. Hopefully it keeps everyone interacted and we can get a bit of a community around that. That'd be awesome to see. But yeah, that's about it for tonight. Cheers, fellas. Take care.